Foreign Secretary David Lammy has defended the government's decision to suspend 30 arms export licences to Israel over concerns the weapons could be used to breach international humanitarian law.
Speaking last night, David Lammy urged Israel to agree to a ceasefire deal with Hamas and rejected claims that the United States had been left unhappy by the move.
Well, it comes after the Prime Minister insisted the suspension of arms licences was a legal decision, not a policy decision. That's when he was pressed at PMQs yesterday. In the studio, Israel's Special Envoy for the Foreign Minister, Fleur Hassan-Nahoum. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
Does the Foreign Secretary have a case, and indeed the Prime Minister have a case, to say, look, we've got to abide by the law on this?
It's very weak. The case is very weak. It's not even anything that's been proven. There was an inquiry or an investigation that started, and there's very little, this holds very little legal water. I think experts have said so much about it. And it's not even something that's been done by Israel. It's a suspicion on a suspicion of something that maybe was done but hasn't been proved yet. And so my question is, why is he doing this? First of all, logistically, it really makes no, it's not of significance to us. This war's not going to be decided on these 30 different export licenses. This is not where the majority of Israel's armaments come from. But also, when you look at where Britain exports arms, countries like Qatar, who are propagators of terrorism and of poison and of jihadi Islamism through Al Jazeera, there's no problem with them. They're human rights. There's no problem. They're perfect. They've got billions of dollars of deals with the UK. Just seems to be double standards and pandering maybe to the crazy left-wingers and the Islamists in this country. I don't see who else would be happy with this.
Why do you think there's so much pressure? Because exactly as you say, Qatar is about £2.7 billion, actually, that we sell in arms to Qatar, and other parts of Saudi Arabia, as well, other parts of Saudi Arabia we sell loads to, and a lot of them don't subscribe to international law. So if we're quite happy to send arms to people who don't subscribe to international law, why are we complaining about one that does? But do you think, though, that perhaps within everything that you said, that maybe there is another reason and another issue here, and that is that David Lammy is actually just throwing his weight about? Because why would he do this? It makes no sense at all.
It doesn't make sense. Even the Times wrote an article saying that it's political posturing, it's performative, because it doesn't make a difference. What's he saying? That he wants Hamas to win this war? But let me tell you something else. A few weeks ago, he did something in my eyes which is worse. He decided to restore funding to UNRWA. UNRWA is a UN organisation that supposedly takes care of Palestinian refugees. So never mind the fact that 4 generations refugees, they've never moved on because of UNRWA's ethos. UNRWA is in charge of the educational system of the Palestinians, which is teaching hatred against Jews, the State of Israel. And it's basically saying the ethos of the education system is one day we're going to kick them all out. Let's just be patient and wait and, launch jihad. That is the educational system that the UK, as well as other countries around the world, are funding. And it's stopped.
But isn't there an argument in all this? And we understand that obviously there are real concerns about what UNRWA has been doing. However, there's an argument, isn't there, to say something has to be done for these people in Gaza who are really suffering and are not getting the help they need.
Well, absolutely. But UNRWA, first of all, it's full of terrorists that actually were part of the October 7th massacre. So basically giving money to the Hamas. UNRWA is not the solution. UNRWA is the problem. The problem of UNRWA is that it's perpetually kept Palestinians down. And instead of helping them resettle and, develop communities and develop their own potential, it's basically kept them in perpetual victimhood. And that's why UNRWA is not the solution, it's part of the problem. Maybe other UN groups could be the solution. Maybe other international aid organizations could be the solution. The solution is not UNRWA, which is run by terrorists and supported by the entire world.
Well, I mean, some members of them were arrested, weren't they, for what they did?
12 of them were part of the massacre.
Part of the massacre. But I'm just wondering why there's not more focus on Hamas and why it's always, Israel. I would like to see them clamping down on Hamas in the same way they are on Israel. But listen, we could talk about this for ages, but unfortunately we don't have enough time to do that. Really good to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Right, it's a bit of a gear change, but let's tell you about the Great British Giveaway. It gets bigger and